both now and forever. My dear brothers and sisters in the Lord, good morning to you all. And happy Sunday to you all. Today, the 13th Sunday in Ordinary Time of Year B, the Church presents to us the theme of faith as a necessity for divine encounter. After this homily, what comes next? Profession of faith. And I love that composition that comes with question. Do you believe? Do you believe in the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit? Yes, I believe. But what you have noted, my brothers and sisters, is that faith doesn't end with profession. It doesn't end with theory. Faith needs to be practiced. And for this, I raised some questions. We often confess our faith, but when it comes to practical terms, do we still express that we believe? When I make a serious effort, and study and didn't come out well with my exams, do I still believe? When I couldn't secure a job, having so many certificates, and remain dependent on others, do I still believe? When I want to marry, I see no man coming my way. Or when I want to marry, I don't have money to begin a family. Do I still believe? When I marry and want to have kids and raise family, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and no child is coming, do I still believe? When I'm sick and tired of medication without cure, do I still believe? When I lose my loved ones, especially the supportive ones, do I still believe? When I face marital, financial, and other crises in life, do I still believe? These and more have destroyed the faith of many fervent Christians and have led many into crisis, lukewarmness, depression, and question of God's existence. However, the Church, through the readings today, calls our attention to the value of faith for divine encounter in the face of crisis, doubt, fear, anxiety, sickness, and death. In the Gospel today, we saw two beautiful stories. Mark used the narrative we call the sandwich model. We know how sandwich is prepared. Bread, and comes the meat, the veg, the cream, and other things you would like to put, and comes again with the bread. He began with the story of Jairus coming to him to ask for his help to heal the daughter. And along the way came the woman with hemorrhage. And maybe attending to the woman with hemorrhage, he was so late to heal the young girl. And then he ended up with raising the young girl from death. And we see in these two stories the emphasis on faith. We see the similarities in the two stories, such that neither of the two women, the elder one and the young one, was named. Again, both Jairus and the woman, they fall at the feet of Jesus, asking for his help. Both women were referred to as daughter. One, daughter of Jairus. The other, Jesus called, daughter, your faith has made you well. Again, the number 12 appeared in both. Jairus' daughter was 12 years old, and the woman suffered hemorrhage for 12 years. And we know in the Old Testament, the number 12 is wholesome, referring to the 12 tribes of Israel. And in the New Testament, referring to the 12 apostles, of which we are descendants. And even from the Old Testament, We are the new Israelites. Fifth, both women were ritually unclean. The girl from death, the woman from hemorrhage, the flow of blood. Then in both also there was a touch. The woman secretly touched the cloak of Jesus. Jesus, reaching the house of Jairus, touched the girl and spoke in the language of death, Talitha Kumi. In both, life was restored. And in both, faith was expressed. Faith then is the supreme expression here that guaranteed the healing and raising of the dead. The woman secretly decided that once she touched the cloak of Jesus, she would get well. But funny enough, she wanted to do this privately just to gain physical healing. But Jesus wanted to give her a whole healing, spiritual, emotional, and every other of her well-being. To the man, Jairus, he came calling for Jesus. My daughter is dying. Can you please come and heal her? He expressed that he has faith that Jesus could heal. Although the power of Jesus healed and raised the little girl, but we see here faith in action as a necessary precondition for that divine encounter. Just as we see in Mark chapter 10, the healing of Bartimaeus, the blind beggar. When he heard that Jesus was passing by, he shouted, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. People were shouting him down, and he shouted the louder, Jesus, Son of David, have pity on me. And Jesus had to stop because one with faith was speaking. And the same people who shot him down came to him and said to him, he was calling you. Also, we see in Matthew chapter 8, the healing of the servant of the centurion master. Centurion master, so high an official, that he went to Jesus just for his servant, asking him to come and heal the servant. And when Jesus was having his way to his house, he said, no, master, I am not worthy to have you under my roof. Only say the word, and my servant shall be healed. Faith in action. Not just profession, but concretely believing that Jesus has the power. We often sing, there is power, there is power, there is power in the Lord. But when it comes to action, do we express that Jesus possessed this power? In Matthew chapter 28, verse 18, Jesus says, all authority, not just power, because you can have power, but you don't have authority. But Jesus has all, because he is the Alpha and Omega. All authority has been given to me in heaven, on earth, and beneath the earth. My dear friends in Christ, we see these expressions justify what the letter to the Hebrews says in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6, that without faith, it is impossible to please God. For whoever will draw near to God must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who seek him. Faith shows trust because it expresses that we believe in God's ability to perform the impossible. It is a catalyst for spiritual growth. Faith distinguishes those who genuinely seek God's help from those seeking temporary solutions. And it acknowledges God's goodness, love, and power. By demanding faith, Jesus emphasized the importance of a genuine relationship with God. trust in his power and spiritual growth, rather than just seeking temporary solutions to our problems. My dear friends in Christ, when we look at the first reading, taken from the wisdom of Solomon, we see that God is God of life and not the God of the dead. He created us in his own image and likeness, and he desired that humanity should live eternally. But death came through the evil device of the devil. And we began to sin, and death became the resultant effect. In the second reading, St. Paul was calling our attention that this faith also must be expressed in our actions. That, in fact, St. James would say that faith without action is dead. So as we call on Jesus, make every effort to encounter him, to be healed, to receive all that we seek for, we also should express this faith in action to our brothers and sisters. As such, those issues, those crises that put people down and push them into depression or thinking whether God still exists or not should be our concern. And that is why St. Paul was calling our attention to the fact that those who are rich should take care of the poor so that there will be equality in the society. But sometimes it is difficult. Sometimes it is also suspicious whom to help or whom not to help. But I tell you, as God's people, let us continue to make efforts to express our faith in action and also to trust God in every situation, because faith is precondition for our eternal existence. And so I will conclude with this. We often express our faith in Abraham, claiming his blessings. Abraham's blessings are mine. Abraham's blessings are mine. I am blessed in the morning. I am blessed in the evening. Abraham's blessings are mine. I often remind people, when we are claiming these blessings, let us also remember the faith of Abraham. Because the blessings didn't just come. He really suffered for it. He persevered. He trusted God before the blessings came. Dear friends in Christ, yes, I believe. Let it not be by mere words, but in action. Peace be with you.